Hey guys, it's Crystal. So I have a review today for a foundation that I have absolutely fallen in love with. It is quickly becoming up there with the likes of my Chanel Vita Lumiere Aqua for me. The foundation I'm talking about is the Lancome Teint Idole, and this is one of their newest foundations, if not the newest foundation. I love the bottle. I think it's really pretty. I'm always impressed with Lancome products and their packaging. I think that it's simple, it's got form and function. It's a nice matte bottle, frosty. It contains 1 full ounce of product, pretty standard for foundation. This is a 24-hour foundation, and when I heard about this, I absolutely could not wait to try it. What I ended up doing was going to Macy's, and they have an entire setup and display of this because it's so new. You can ask to become color matched. What I love about this is how many shades there are. This comes in 28 different shades, ranging from warms to cools to neutrals. And if you go into your local department store that has a Lancome setup, they will be more than happy to match you with a shade and give you a little bottle to take home with you, and you can try it out. Now, the little bottles that they have, that lasted me about 3 weeks, and I didn't use it every single day, but I will tell you I only need 3 pumps from this to complete my neck, décolleté area, and my face and ears quite evenly. Here's the box that it comes with, and I'm sorry for the glare. The shade that I am is number 230 Buff, and it's a warm color, which I find really interesting because MAC, I am all neutrals. I'm very neutral in MAC, and in Clinique, I always get neutral colors as well. So I found that interesting that for my Lancome, I matched perfectly with a warm tone. Now, the box says that it's wear and comfort, retouch-free makeup, divine perfection with SPF 15 in it. So it's not a high SPF, but it's low enough so that if you photograph it, it's not going to be horribly shiny and really show your pores very much. It's just enough SPF to make it comfortable for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the Lancome website all about the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra, and then I will talk to you about my feelings on it. So it says the Teint Idole Ultra 24-hour is 24-hour wear for long-lasting perfection. Following 8 years of research, Lancome unveils its first 24-hour wear foundation for lasting perfection. With its new Eternal Soft technology, Teint Idole Ultra 24 hours defeats all challenges. Complexion stays perfectly flawless and unified. It's never cakey. In perfect affinity with the skin, Teint Idole Ultra 24 hours is irresistibly comfortable. Its new blendable and fresh texture leaves the complexion perfectly smooth, velvety matte with no powdery effect. The results: the full coverage you need, flaws, pores, redness, and all imperfections visibly disappear. The velvety finish you love for 24 hours, lasting perfection and comfort. Full coverage, velvety matte finish with no powdered effect. It's oil-free, fragrance-free, transfer-free, non-comedogenic, tested on sensitive skin, tested under dermatological control, and the patent is pending. So this runs for $44 US, either on the Lancome website, at Nordstrom, or at Macy's. Now, I just have to say that when I went and I got my sample to take home and try, I automatically fell in love with it. I just thought that this was the best foundation, and I knew I had to go back and get the full size. The other day, I put it on at 6 a.m. because I had a really early day, and I stayed up well until 2 a.m. just watching TV and watching Netflix, and I just realized, oh my gosh, I have to go take off my makeup. This actually stayed on that entire time, from 6 a.m. till 2 a.m. the next morning, because I was up so late. Flawless. It is absolutely transfer free. I don't have to continuously worry, is it getting on my jacket? That is the one thing I cannot stand. Right now I'm switching back and forth between a white spring jacket and a yellow jacket, and I hate having that makeup get right on the collar of my jackets. It's just really obnoxious and embarrassing. This does not transfer, and I love that about this makeup. It is very, very comfortable to wear. It feels like a tinted moisturizer and a BB cream. You just feel that extra added smoothness. It's very easy to blend. It blends like a dream. I choose to apply it with a stippling brush. This is just the Samantha Chapman Real Technique stippling brush. I love applying it with a stippling brush. I feel that it buffs it in really, really well. It gets everywhere nicely. I did not try it with my hands. I choose not to put my hands to my face when applying makeup like this. And I did happen to try it with a regular foundation brush, and I wasn't too pleased. Although that's how it was applied on me at Lancome, the gentleman did apply it with just a regular paddle foundation brush, and it did turn out all right, but I still, for my skin, think nothing beats a stippling brush, and this one is real nice because it's a great buffer as well. Now, as many of you know, I have large pores. I'm going to see if I can do a close-up. Very large pores. This makeup absolutely makes them very, very small to unnoticeable. Now, I tried it with two different primers, a silicone-based and a water-based. I was really, really happy to see that it worked well with both of them. A lot of times what I run into is a foundation will work better with a silicone base on my skin as opposed to a water base, and this one I was expecting the same thing. I was thinking it'll probably work better with a silicone base as opposed to a water base. Works really nicely with both. Today I do have it on top of a water base. I have it on top of Laura Geller Spackle, and it is perfect. It's absolutely fine. In terms of covering up redness, I have very red undertones. I'm very, very red pigmented, and I'm getting more so right now because I'm out in the sun for an hour every day. I did not put it on my eyelids today, so that's why my eyelids look a little bit redder. I'm going to be doing a tutorial in a minute, so I chose to leave my eyelids blank. But my cheeks did get sunburned this week, and you can barely tell. My cheeks were really, really red the other day, and without this makeup on, they're still really red. When I put this on, you cannot tell. It covers it up very, very nicely. Of course, I have yet to find that foundation that covers my redness 110%, but this is the closest thing possible to doing that. Another thing that I really, really liked about it, my dark circles under my eyes. Those are typically a little bit more difficult for me to cover up. The amount of concealer needed was actually such a small amount after applying the foundation. Usually I will need to apply a good amount right underneath my eyes because I have such bluish pigmented dark circles. And actually I was very pleased to see that once I put this on, I really did not need more than a dab and a dab of my concealer. It works well with drugstore concealers, and it works well with higher end. It gives a very natural matte finish. That's another thing that's important to me, especially this time of year. This could not have come out and been introduced to me at a better time. Another thing that's really important to me when looking at foundation is oil-free. Now, many foundations are oil-free, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to make me look nice and matte. Of course not. Some are very luminous, and that's what a lot of girls like, is that nice luminous glow, especially in the springtime, in the summer. I unfortunately can't have that all the time because, or I need to have it in like certain spots like on my cheeks or the bridge of my nose. Having my whole face luminous is like a horrible, horrible travesty. My pores get huge, I look even more oily than I should, and it's just no good. So I need something that is matte, and I really appreciate when a foundation says that they're matte and then they truly are matte. I like the bottle because this is like the perfect representation of how matte your skin is. My skin, I feel, looks so nice and matted. It's just really, really that almost frosted over look. There's a tiny bit of shine, but that is absolutely nothing compared to how it usually is and when I'm wearing a foundation, and I felt that this did a beautiful job mattifying my skin. It's really, really good at staying put. Even under normal conditions, when you have oily skin, your foundation will tend to move around, to slip, to gather in certain places. This absolutely does not do that. Another thing that I like, I mean, there are so many positive things about this foundation that I'm just so incredibly happy to bring this to you guys and to share it with you guys, because I really think that a huge portion of you will benefit from this, especially if you have oily skin, especially if you have sensitive skin. You hear me say all the time, oh, my skin's sensitive, I can't really go to the drugstore for foundation because of how sensitive my skin is. That's totally true. I have a hard time going to the drugstore and picking out a foundation and finding a foundation that is going to work with my skin and not make me break out on my chin. Perfect. Passes with flying colors. I did not break out even when I wore it from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. A lot of times with foundations, even if they're higher end, I can't wear something on my face that long without being irritated somehow, some way. This, I didn't even know it's on. Like, you forget that it's on because it's so comfortable. I can feel like my skin breathing. It feels good. It feels like healthy makeup. And I know a lot of concerns with people are, you know, having that foundation on is clogging your pores. It's really going to affect you. This is non-comedogenic. It's not going to clog your pores. Something interesting about this foundation is that it goes by intensity. If you visit the Lancome website, they have intensity 1, intensity 2, intensity 3, and intensity 4. And in each intensity category are a cluster of different shades. If you find your shade, you'll be able to tell how intense it's going to appear on you. So on intensity 4, there's the majority of shades. I believe intensity 1 has 4 shades. For example, mine, Buff W or Buff Warm, falls into the intensity 2 category. It blends all the way down very, very naturally. It's really nice as well because it's streak free, and I'd imagine that for any intensity you get, you're not going to have those streaks. Sometimes when you're blending your foundation out, you can notice some streaks, but this really does not have streaks. Something that I really loved about this too, powder afterwards. I'm big on powdering afterwards. It's like second nature because I get oily. I don't need to powder afterwards. It just is so smooth. However, I have used powder on top of this and it's fine. Now, so the top comes off and I love it. There's the traditional Lancome flower right there, as you can see. It's a really pretty, just grayish gunmetal-y colored cap, and it's a pump. The pump's already included, which is the best part because I typically don't like when it's just one that you have to pour out on the back of your hand or on a palette to do. I love the pump. It's a way to save and not waste so much product. You start off with a small pump, and if you need more, you can add as you go. This has no scent to it. It's absolutely fragrance free. I'm just going to show you on the back of my hand. How nicely it blends. And it's blended. It's literally that simple, that easy. It is full coverage, but like I said, there's the 4 different intensities. So I would imagine that intensities 3 and 4 are much more, or appear to be much more of a full coverage than intensities 1 and 2. However, they are all full coverage. And even though this is a very light, a very natural looking foundation, you can still see the difference. All of my veins where I put that foundation are covered, whereas this hand, you can see them. The only thing that I could see is when some people think of full coverage, they think of super thick, heavy, full coverage makeup. And this is not that. This is not a full coverage in terms of it's going to be caked on your face. And I think that that's a good thing. It's still full coverage. As you can see from a close-up from now, I don't have redness showing. My pores are not even there, and the fine lines gone completely. That's full coverage to me. That's certainly full coverage. And there's 4 different tiers of full coverage, and I'm level 2. So you can certainly go and try them out and see which one works for you and see if maybe you can find the type of coverage you need. And I really like that it gives so many options, 28 shades, 4 different tiers of coverage. I love that. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I really encourage you, even if you don't go and buy the full bottle, go to your local Macy's, Nordstrom's, wherever else has a Lancome, and sit with them, talk to them, and request that they get you a little sample jar or a little sample bottle of this. Get shade matched. Try it out for yourself. You will love it. You will absolutely love this. The one quick thing that I would say for dry skin, I cannot see this working that well for somebody with very dry skin. It is very much oil-free. It is very much a mattifying foundation. So if you have dry skin, this actually may be a little bit much for you. But if you have a combo to very oily to just slightly oily skin, this is going to be perfect. If any of you have used this foundation, I would love to hear your experience with it. And I'd also like to hear your colors, your shade that you are, because it would be interesting to see the differences and the similarities between the shades. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Take care.